think we can get this party started. It is. Hey, everybody, and welcome. And I might have a little bit to say tonight, and I guess that won't be surprising to most of you. You're going to get used to me, and I'm not saying that I am totally new to this. I've been doing some videos. I have videos on other channels, and I'm part of a radio station. It's called GHTR. It's a podcast radio station, and we are in the midst of branching out. We had one of the number one podcast stations a few years back, and life happened, and we had to go, or just had to close it down for a while, and so now we're trying to revive it, and it's been pretty difficult, but I think we're gonna get there. But I've been praying, let's what direction do you want me to go? It's like when I pray to God, I'm sitting here going, listen, um, tell me which way to go. I'm listening, you know, and he's literally doing this, and I just think that honestly, I think it's really starting to move in the right direction, and I'm following what he wants me to do, and I just feel that you know my faith happened many times over throughout my life. And I've heard the Bible from many different points. I mean, I've heard, people's idea of what the Bible says here, what it says here, what it says here. And, I'm standing back and I'm listening to all these people tell their different stories and how their their interpretation of the Bible is different from the interpretation of this people, and sometimes they agree to disagree. And I just kind of like, whoa, this is really weird. And I think I remember back, I'm pretty sure it was Jimmy Swaggart. Um, he says everybody's gonna come away from anything out of the Bible, everybody's going to come away with something different because it applies to them in their lives. And I was like, oh wow. So when I started reading the Bible, I was really into like Revelations and in the beginning of the Bible, and how in the beginning things were ruthless, boy, right up to the point of the flood, and things were like nasty. We have no idea how bad it was, but according to the Bible and historians who have studied this, you know that there was some really bad things happening, a lot of wickedness, and it, it it was pretty bad. And when you think about that, I was just like, yeah, it just astounds me. It did. It astounded me. Just different religions. You almost wonder, with the different religions around the world, they have, um, I just lost where I was at. I got something on my mind, so, but anyway, everybody has their own interpretation of a lot that goes on in the Bible. And sometimes I feel like, I hear, you know, friends will say, this is written in the Bible so many times, and, you're just like, you've read the Bible, about, what is said in there. And when someone says to me, "Hey, you're not supposed to eat this, eat that, and all these other things," and it, it's just weird, the whole thing. So the interpretations can get a little bit annoying. But if you're reading your own, it's for you, then you're getting something different. So if they're saying something, you get what I'm saying? That's how it is. You know, a friend of mine, him and I have been talking for quite a long time, and we're talking about a subject in the Bible, and it talks about not eating pork, and he said something that was in the Bible so many times, and like I said, I've read the Bible. My grandma used to read the Bible to me, so I'm familiar with it. And I was like, wow, I gotta go check that out because that could be an important deal. So went on the hunt, and I don't know the exact. It's like level whatever the book is. I should have wrote it down here, but it does say it in the Bible. It says not to eat anything uh, without a clove hoof, a V in the hoof. And I was like, okay. And it talks about, fishes and stuff that you're not supposed to eat. And it's just like, okay, you're not supposed to eat these, yet there's other parts of the Bible that contradict that. Like, when they were fishing they had their nets out and their traps. And what was the nets and the traps? What was in the traps? Well, the traps lay down on the bottom of the ocean. So what were they eating? It never does say that, but it it does say certain things. And these people were like, I mean, they obeyed the laws of back then. We didn't. They didn't. Their laws were the laws of the Bible. This is how they lived their lives. And technically, we're supposed to be doing the same thing. But if you interpret the Bible differently than somebody else interprets the Bible, and then you go in there and you're wondering, is is it true that you're not supposed to eat pork? But then there's these Bible scholars that say in there it talks about that, and it talks about um, it, the an interpretation of it, what it really says, and what it does it really mean, because they're only reading one verse. There's things in between it, on either side of it, and it goes into explanation. It was really interesting what he said, and you know, does it mean we're not supposed, to do these things? And if God says we're not supposed to, but someone says it's not what it's meant to say, it again, you got this. He says, and you know, it's just who. How do you really know? And him and I were also talking, and we got into a conversation about ghosts, our belief in ghosts. And I'm a firm believer. I believe in ghosts. I know Christians are technically, I guess, not supposed to believe in that stuff, but I've seen some weird stuff. And either I was hallucinating really bad for no reason, or it was something different. I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, you read the Bible, you see things in the Bible, you get stuff from the Bible, and I've been getting a lot more and a lot more from listening to things on YouTube, and you listen to you know people's different interpretations of you know that was with me 8 months ago. 8 months ago, I listened to this sermon from Sadie Robinson, and there was this part in the Bible, and it really hit me. I mean, boom, my interpretation of it was like exactly that. It's like, what's holding you back? Why not build something that you can give back to the people? And this is what this whole thing's about. And I want to do that. And these live shows, and doing this by myself can be a little bit difficult because I got a lot of stuff in my head going on right now, and it can be I can get distracted real easy just by another thought popping in my head because I got so much going on. But my friend and I, we talked for quite a while, and then our subject matter switched back and forth, and at some point I'm listening to him tell his stories, and I'm thinking to myself, this guy has had so many things that has happened in his life, and you learn something about people. And one of the biggest things is him and I have talked for quite a long time, and he was like kind of my go-to person when after I got out of the hospital because I didn't have anybody else other than a sociologist that I went to. But he was there. We talk and talk, and we the stories that he's told me about his life are pretty impressive, and he's got a lot of enthusiasm, and and the thing about it is when you listen to persons for so long, and the conversation is different on a daily basis. We really don't talk about the same things every time. We just have a lot to say. So that's why we're trying to get this podcast up and going, because a lot of the conversations that we talk about can be, oh hell, we just got to get this thing up and going, because the conversations that him and I have are actually pretty phenomenal. But anyway, so I'm gonna get out of here. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care of yourself, and keep looking up. He's up there. He's coming.